one of the songs went #1 in America, and I was like, there's no way I can do that again. It feels like someone else did it, because it's been fucking ages. It's been like 3 years. When I go in a room, I just assume people in that room don't like me. My music's not going to be for everybody. I'm fully aware of that. My personality is definitely not going to be for everybody. I'm fully aware of that. I thought I was going to go in and be like, right, I've had a couple of hits. Relax, guys. Here we go. This is going to be lovely. Easy peasy. I was fucking second guessing myself all the time. I was like, I would start writing a song and then immediately, no, that's shite. Like, just constantly like self sort of like just fucking just, that's shite, nah, that's shite. Like, looking at what we did before, obviously COVID happened. You have all this time to kind of like look back on everything you did and you go, oh, for fuck's sake, that was kind of got away from us a bit there. The song, one of the songs went #1 in America, and I was like, there's no way I can do that again. That just seems like such a fucking, such a fucking climb, and something that I'm just not capable of. It feels like someone else did it. Do you know what I mean? And now I'm like, oh, now I'm
You're comparing yourself to that person.
Yeah, I'm like lumped. It's like we were saying before, like that thing of like, even now coming on to do the interviews and stuff, it's like, fuck, I don't know if I can do any of this shit anymore, because it's been fucking ages. It's been like 3 years.
Do you know who sat here before you was Bear Grylls? And Bear Grylls said to me, he said, the more successful I've become, the lower my confidence has become. Because Bear Grylls now when you, like, if your mate eats something crazy or does something crazy, you go, who do you think you are? Bear Grylls. He's actually become synonymous with the word. Like, so his identity is this like extreme, you know, whatever. And he's now looking up at his own identity going, how the hell am I ever going to be Bear Grylls?
Totally,
and it was crazy to hear him say like his confidence is at like pretty much an all-time low because of his success. Because he's competing with his own accomplishments, which is not an easy place to be.
No, 100%. And I totally agree with that. I feel like as well, it's such a weird position to be in, because you walk into a room like, and it's people like, this sounds wanky as fuck, but like, I have to assume in some regard that people around my age have at least heard about me in passing. And I always just assume, when I go in a room, I just assume people in that room don't like me. Like, that's just my...
Don't like you?
That's my, like, default position of, like, I don't know why. I don't know why it is, but I just, like, it's just something I always have. And I always, like, if I go to a pub and, like, I'll walk in a pub, like, I'm like, oh, fuck. People probably, like, walking up to the bar, or, like, if someone comes up and says hello and I'm speaking to them and I take a picture with them, I think, oh, everyone else in this pub probably thinks I'm a wanker. I don't know. It's like, I don't know if it's like...
When did that start?
Maybe, like, towards the end of 2019, probably. And don't get me wrong, like, I fucking... Being famous is fun. It's great. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
but why do you think they're not going to like you?
I don't know. It's just like, I don't know what, I just assume that they've probably seen something online, like a video I've done or an interview I've done, or they've heard the songs and they think, oh, his music's shite. Or they've seen an interview and they think, oh, I fucking hate that, can't stand him. Yeah, I don't know. I just always assume that people have got this, I don't know, this view of me that they maybe don't like. I don't know. I couldn't really put my finger on it why. Like, I don't hate myself. Like, I think I'm all right. Like, do you know what I mean? But I think it's just I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe that thing of like being like in the public eye, like you're so fucking exposed to like all this shit, and it's like, yeah, it's a bit of a, I don't know. It's a bit of a. You walk into a room and you feel like, oh fuck, this is.
Do you feel like it? Because I've started doing Dragon's Den now. So the podcast was like, you know, big people knew it before, but there's this whole new demographic now. This BBC One demographic where if I'm in the airport, if someone just glances at me, I assume you're going to come over and say something or whatever. So you kind of live with this constant paranoia. You're kind of like
all the time.
And you're like, if I just keep my headphones on and I look at the fucking floor, then I'm not. Do you get
100%, and it's like that sort of like
you
that
feel
paranoia
like
is like squeezed in. And don't get me wrong, I love when people come up and I love taking pictures of people, and I love speaking to people and hearing people's stories about how they love the music, or like even I get a lot of people who go, oh, I think your music's shite, but I think you're funny and all that stuff, and I'll accept that as well. That's fine, cool. But
is it cool?
Yeah, I think it's fine. You can't. My music's not going to be for everybody. I'm fully aware of that. My personality is definitely not going to be for everybody. I'm fully aware of that. I think the fact that people come up. I like the fact that people feel that they can say that to me and I won't take offense.
You've kind of invited that though, haven't you?
Yeah. Because that's how I am. Like you would really, really have to say something horrible, but I don't know what you could say to me that I would take offense at. I'm very like, I don't know if it's my upbringing in Scotland or just being Scottish or whatever. Like like I don't take offense to things really. Like I've seen some fucking pretty ridiculous things written about me online and on Twitter and all the rest of it that really does not like.
You say you're very self-deprecating.
Yeah, of course.
Why?
I just think it's funny. I think, but again, I think that's a very Scottish thing, and that's a very, like, we kind of all, well, when I grew up, everyone just took the piss out of each other. It's quite, I don't know, it's quite a bad thing, not a bad thing in Scotland. You never want to get ideas above your station. Like, you never, even when I was starting out in music, I never thought we'd get to this point or that things would get to this big, because I just always thought, oh, that just doesn't, it's maybe a bad thing as well, because it maybe stops a lot of people from going to achieve things or trying to reach for stuff. Like I've said before, like if I hadn't met my manager and my label and stuff, I would still be in pubs just playing tunes at the weekend and all the rest of it. It's not like, or I'd be playing weddings and stuff like that, because I would just not assume that this was on the cards. But I think, yeah, I think as well there's something nice in, don't get me wrong, around my friends I'm slagging them off like nothing else, and they're doing the same to me, and it's like you kind of figure out like what your flaws are by the way your friends, the stuff your friends pick out. And I don't get me wrong, like on tour, we say some fucking horrific stuff to each other and we take the piss out of each other, and it's all fine because we love each other and it's grand. But like, I think in general, if I can, it feels better to make people laugh like at me than other people. Like I would rather make someone laugh at me than grab somebody else and take the piss out of them before.
Is there not a harm in that? In self-deprecate, like, because I've heard some of the things you said. You know, you said, I mean, I know they're jokes, but you said things like, women find me equally repulsive in Australia, and whenever there's, you take a shot at yourself. And I do wonder, because if one of my good friends was always self-deprecating, I would tell them to stop.
Yeah, totally.
Because I would be worried that those words might knock their own confidence. Or
that's the thing. It's like you don't talk, like, be nice to yourself. Like that's the thing. I think if you're talking like, if you had like a child, would you want someone to say the things to your child that you say about yourself? I get that completely, and I understand that, but I don't like self-deprecate constantly in my private life. Do you know what I mean? I don't like. Yeah. It's something that has become kind of synonymous with me doing interviews and all the rest of it, and I do it a lot in my private life, but it's not like a constant every sentence, like kind of how it is on interviews and things like that.
Do you think it's kind of self-defense in a way?
It could be, yeah. I think as well, yeah. Like my first album's called Divinely Uninspired to a Hellish Extent, which is like kind of saying my album's shite before a critic can say my album's shite. I think it's like, it's nice to take the power away from people, because it's like, oh, I fucking said it first. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I think it's quite it is good. It is good. It takes the power away from other people, I think, in that regard. So I do think there's probably something in that. But the way I see it, I don't really feel like it's dragging me down. Like, for example, the stuff I say to myself in my head when I'm hungover, that is like damaging stuff. Like that sort of thing of like when you're hungover and you're like kind of just that self-loathing and that sort of like, that's the stuff that if I said to myself all the time, I'd be like, whoa, you need to fucking like chill out. If it's like jovial, and it's never stuff that like I can't change. Do you know what I mean? It's not like things like that I'm like, if I'm calling myself chubby, that's not like I can do something about that. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like not. Do you know what I mean? So it's something like that. There is an aspect as well of like you kind of, people, you get to a point and doing interviews, like especially radio stations, that we do just say the same thing over and over again. So it's the same in that regard of like, people say it a lot, like you're very self-deprecating. It's like, well, yes, but I'm getting asked the same questions everywhere I go. So I'm just kind of like rewording a lot of this self-deprecating pattern and the rest of it. So yeah, I mean, I don't think second time around it's going to be quite I don't know. how it's going to play out. That's what I'm saying about like turning it on again and all the rest of it. Like, it's just it's going to be interesting to see like how things play out this time around, because it's like, yeah, I'm not just going to come out and say the same stuff.
How do you feel about the second time around? Give me the full range of emotions. So this is your second
kind of releasing new music, first time in like 3 years.
First time was just a smash mega ultra hit.
Yeah, some might call it that. Yeah,
fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. So this time I'm shitting myself.